So, I'm saying that I've seen this shit before. I've seen this shit before. I've seen this scenario play out before. Or at least, I've seen scenarios that are very similar play out before. Give us an example, you fucking cunt. Alright then. Vinyl. LPs, long playing records. I'm old enough to remember vinyl going out of fashion. I'm old enough to remember CDs happening. CDs, compact disc. The compact disc digital audio format, which is it's a very useful, a very practical, convenient format. It's quite a robust format in comparison to vinyl. Okay, you can have it in your car. Now, yeah, there are some very, very expensive, very, very hilarious examples of limousines, old limousines that got record players in them, you know. But for the rank and file, it's a non-starter having a record player in your fucking car. Don't. Anyway, but you can have CDs. You can have a CD player in your car like you used to be able to have a tape player. I mean, people don't have them now. They have Bluetooth, I believe it's called. You can get this. You can get this thing called Bluetooth. Apparently, it's a bit like white privilege. You can butter it on something. You have it. If you have Bluetooth, there's all manner of shit you can do that motherfuckers without Bluetooth can't. So it's very much like white privilege. I've got a big jar of white privilege in my house at home. Every morning I spread it liberally on my slices of toast in the morning, and my life just rolls by. Minimum effort, maximum effect. Fucking smiles all round, courtesy of white privilege. If I didn't have my white privilege, my life would be an absolute foot-cunting shithole of a wank stain. How about that? I'll say that. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So back to vinyl. 1982, I believe it was, when CDs became commercially available. I think it was Sony. It was either Sony or Philips released a commercially available, commercially available CD player. And, you know, not long after that it was touted as, you have to get rid of your vinyl, it's crap. Crap is vinyl. Now, I'm off on another tangent here. If, like me, you spunked untold amounts of money on hi-fi, then you know that you get to a certain point and vinyl starts sounding really good. Really good. And I forget the exact format, the exact digital format of CD, standard CD format, something like 44 Hz sampling at 16-bit or 16-bit sampling at 44 kilohertz. I can't. There's a specification. 16-bit, or you can have single-bit, but I think that's the players. I think the encoding, the method of encoding onto the format it's 16-bit, and vinyl can sound a lot better than that once you've spent a lot of money on it. In fact, there's a channel I follow, JM on Cars, and he makes a comment in one of his videos about this particular car's got a particular make of hi-fi installed in it, and he's like, basically what he says is it's a waste of time spunking a load of money off on a system to listen to music in your car. It just doesn't compare. It doesn't compare favourably with a decent hi-fi in a house, in a reasonably large building, in a large room. And I put a comment saying, I wholly agree with that sentiment. And then somebody wrote a reply to it, but he expects this and that and the other, and from the sentiment of this comment that this person made, it was quite, to my mind, it was apparent that they'd never heard actual no fucking about hi-fi. I'm not getting at this, this is not a character assassination. I'm not trying to do that, but what I'm saying is that this person had not experienced the full picture. They've not had a good old grow up behind the curtain, as it were. They've not been introduced to the world of fucking insanity that is hi-fi. And I'll leave, by way of comparison, I'll leave you with this. And again, I've probably mentioned this before. Anyway, in a little town where I live, there's a jeweller's, and they happen to be a Rolex dealer. And in one of the windows, they've got several windows because they sell other stuff as well, obviously. They can't just rely on Rolex, blah, 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 blah. They've got Rolex watches there, and at one point, they had the prices of the watches in window. And I was stood looking at window, and this gentleman came up, and he's a guy I know socially. I've worked with him a good few years ago. He's a ship-shaped bloke. He's got a reasonably good grasp of reality. But what he's not been exposed to is mentalness, insanity of how much money you can spunk off on various knickknacks, various trinkets. And we were looking in this window, and he clapped eyes on one of these watches, and his words were, £160 for a watch. That's madness. I'd never pay that amount of money for a watch. And I looked at price tag on this watch that he was looking at. He looked at it with his Mark 1 eyeballs, and he saw £160, and that was ridiculous. To his frame of reference, that was madness for a watch. Because that was his frame of reference when he looked at his frame of reference when he looked at that number. He was like trying to stretch his frame of reference as far as he could. And in his head it was 160 quid, and he couldn't. That's crazy. I didn't have the heart to tell him the price tag was actually 16 grand for this particular watch. As I say, he looked at it, 160 quid. And I just thought, yeah, crazy, isn't it? Crazy. I didn't want to drag him into the world of absolute fucking lunacy, because he seemed quite upset as it was at £160. I didn't have the heart to bring him into that world. So that's what I go on about. I've seen this shit. There's this madness going on. A lot of people's frame of reference is just not nowhere near the full picture.